Okay. So, today we're going deep on something pretty wild, biodecoding.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, and all this stuff is about the work of this guy, Vince Ultra.
Right.
So basically the idea is that all our emotions, they're not just these feelings we have, right?
Oh.
It's like, they're more like a code, like something we can actually decipher and understand.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. It's like we can move beyond just, saying I feel sad or I feel happy and actually look at the underlying mechanisms.
Yeah, exactly. And so our mission today is to kind of unpack this whole biodecoding thing.
Okay.
See what the big deal is and how it could affect us, personally and as a society.
Right.
Now, at the heart of all this is Vince Ultra, and he's been called a white hat alchemist of emotions, which is such a cool title.
Yeah, it's very evocative.
Right. He's not some, shady hacker in a dark room.
No, definitely not. It's more like he's using that hacker mindset, but for good.
Yeah.
To unlock well-being and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, he's got this invention called the Biodecoder, and it's basically this sleek, wearable, I think they said it's like a headband, and it's supposed to translate the electrical patterns of your emotions into colors.
Ooh.
Like a visual spectrum.
That is so cool. Different colors for different emotions.
Yeah, so they were saying joy might be vibrant blues, anger would be fiery reds, calmness would be serene green.
Wow.
I mean, just the idea of that.
It's very visual.
Yeah.
Yeah, what really struck me was how it could help us understand ourselves so much better. It's not just about recording data or anything.
Right.
It's about actually seeing your own emotions in a tangible way. So imagine you're giving a presentation and you're super stressed afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
You could use the Biodecoder and see a huge spike of anxiety in red.
Oh, wow.
And then maybe it could suggest some relaxation techniques or point out things you could improve in your presentation style next time.
That's actually really helpful.
Yeah, it's a whole new level of self-awareness,
It's literally seeing inside yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So, okay, Vince isn't just thinking about individuals, though.
Right.
He has this even bigger idea called the Feelscape Network.
So the Feelscape Network is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It's like this giant network where people can share their emotional data anonymously, but in a secure way.
Okay.
And the idea is that if you have all this data of people's emotions, you can actually do something good with it.
Like what?
Well, they talked about this concept called the pie of happiness.
Pie of happiness.
Yeah, so basically, if enough people are feeling positive emotions, it could actually generate funding for good causes.
So shared laughter could support mental health programs?
Exactly. It's turning good vibes into actual positive change in the world.
That's amazing. So now I want to shift gears a bit.
Sure.
Your sources also mentioned this thing called the 4 a.m. anomaly.
Oh, yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah, it's this idea that people get super inspired in the early morning hours.
Right. 3 to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Vince was really curious about that.
And what causes it?
Yeah, and he was looking at brainwave states, specifically alpha and theta waves.
Okay, so remind me again what those are.
So alpha waves are when you're relaxed and kind of daydreaming. And theta waves are more that dreamy state right before you fall asleep.
Okay.
And they're linked to creativity and intuition.
Got it.
So Vince thought maybe the Biodecoder could help people get into those states more easily.
To boost their creativity or focus.
Exactly.
So it's almost gently influencing your brain state.
Yeah, and the sources even talked about biohacking.
Biohacking.
Yeah, using things like brainwave entrainment audio.
I've heard of that. So how does that work?
Basically, it's using specific sound frequencies to encourage your brainwaves to sync up with them.
Oh, okay.
Usually you listen through headphones in a quiet space.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So Vince's vision seems to be constantly growing.
Yeah, for sure. From the Biodecoder to the Feelscape Network.
Yeah.
And then there's Lumos Mind, which I guess is sonic biohacking.
Right.
And then even hacking reality.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And now he's rebranded to Ultra Life,
I saw that.
which is bringing in all these ideas like luxury and stoicism.
Stoicism.
It's a philosophy about emotional regulation and virtue.
Oh, interesting.
And then there's this Japanese concept called ikigai,
Ikigai.
which is your reason for being.
Wow. It's a very holistic approach.
It is. It's going way beyond just the tech itself.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a whole philosophy of well-being.
It is. Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Vince Ultra's world,
Yeah.
what's the one big takeaway you want listeners to think about?
I think the big question is what happens when we can understand and share emotions in these new ways? What are the possibilities and the challenges?
Yeah.
I mean, it could change everything from how we interact with each other to how we approach things like mental health and well-being.
That's a great point. It's definitely something to think about.
It is. It could be the start of a whole new era.
Exactly. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Of course. This was fun.
And to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep questioning. And as always, thanks for tuning in to the deep dive.
Bye, everyone.